Word had been sent that the French army, under the command of Count Aldebert of Orléans, had hastily been recalled, had landed in chaos, and was forming up near Castle Montpellier. They were reported to be over 8,000 strong. It seemed that the Emperor could no longer ignore us in the increasing control we exerted over Toulouse. We formed rank in the forests of Albi. The haste with which the enemy conducted their approach showed that still they discounted us as mere rabble-rousers and marauders, instead of a military force to be reckoned with. That hubris should prove to be their downfall. Being able to pick the field of battle of our choosing, we deployed our heavy infantry as the center of gravity just at the tree line. The enemy had a good amount of horsemen, so we would see to it that they couldn't be able to use them. Hidden away in the forest, we formed our archers in a large crescent, ordered to fall back should they be challenged, and our own heavy cavalry was awaiting orders out of sight of the enemy. Such was our position that all they would see was our infantry concentrated in what would seem to be a defensive formation. So sure was the enemy of his advantage that they sent two separate forces, the main body of their army under Captain Alberto, a skilled mercenary, followed by the Count somewhat behind. They crashed into our infantry, whom they thought afraid and easy to rout, only to find them standing firm. Trained and well equipped, they held, while many fell under the sudden onslaught of arrows all around them. Yet still, Count Aldebert believed he had the upper hand, and sent his light cavalry to root out the threat from our archers. Alas, that was when we sprung our trap, and before they could even reach what they deemed an easy fight, our own cavalry, led by our best knights, crested the hill and cut through them, scattering their riders like leaves in the wind. We didn't stop, but pressed the attack, and suddenly the Count found that his men, hungry and weary from the rapid march right after making landfall, faced not a bandit rabble, but professional, motivated soldiers. Our infantry marched at them from the front, like a wall of steel, arrows rained at them from all directions, and our knights cut through them from behind. In what would later be known as the slaughter at Albi, the French army ceased existing as an organized force. Thousands lay dead on the field of battle. More had run in blind fright. Captain Alberto, in his honor, refused to flee as the Count did, and stood for a last stand with his own knights. We gave quarter, treated them well, and let them free after the customary exchange of ransom. This humiliation on the field of battle ended the war, and the Emperor could not but acquiesce to our demands. The time has come to begin organizing our new duchy, and there are many things that we need to deal with. Our main holding, and obviously in Toulouse and the castle of Toulouse. We have the temple of Pamiers, and we do have the county of Rouergue with the Rodez castle, as well as the county of Millau with the Millau castle, and then we've got the city of Marvejois that is under Mayor Savarix, and we are also we're also having the county of Gévaudan, which is a little bit of a difficult one because technically Gévaudan belongs into the Duchy of Toulouse. Unfortunately, Gévaudan is under the control of Count Émeric of Auvergne, who currently has also the county of Auvergne, which means that he is reporting to me. He is a bit slow, but he is a proud man, such that there might be some trouble in the future. Now, ideally, he would give up Gévaudan to me, and he would become independent, but that's not how this works. So we will have potentially some trouble here in the east in the future. So for now, I'm sending Farah, my marshal, to increase the control in Rouergue, and Toulouse itself is going to increase slowly as well. So we'll have to build up our control first. And obviously we have to deal with our financial situation. While we have a very good war chest from our days as adventurers, this isn't going to last forever. So that is something we need to do something about it. Now we have Emo, our steward, who we could send to increase the development, which I think is not a bad idea for the future, but that's obviously going to have a bit of an impact on taxes. So even fewer taxes will be collected. However, we're not collecting an awful lot of taxes at the moment anyway because of the lack of control, which is what Farah is tasked to deal with. Now, Takulf is going to start discussing with the mayor as well as the Count of Auvergne, and see if we can deal with them. Now, we do have a few more court positions to fill, just so we can get a decent idea of our finances. Adela, our seneschal, is working on growing control everywhere as well. And Volkart is educating the children in the court, which means we have a few positions open that are currently not in use. We have Charles, our personal champion, who we could get to compete in my name for increased prestige, but that is really not something that we need at the moment. We are well known across the lands. We have Thierry and Richard who are working as our bodyguards. Takulf is still our second, and a few other positions are filled. Cicek obviously is infirm, so we will leave her in position, but we might have to replace her at some point. That leaves a few open positions. So the position of the wet nurse might be one that would be good to fill, but we do not really have anybody very qualified. So we could probably search for a wet nurse, and we'll send word out that we are in need of this. All right. That said, now we obviously have a major expense, which is the army. So we will be reducing our military quite significantly, because to match our new station, and also because a lot of the men that we had recruited are not necessarily do not necessarily want to settle down, but want to find other places and other things that they can do. So I am thinking to reduce that somewhat. Let me go through that and then I'll get back to you. Okay, we have let the armored footmen who have stood so firm in the Battle of Albi, we've let them go, and they will settle down or move to other places and look for their own fortune. And I've somewhat reduced the numbers of our soldiers. That said, we are I think like 2,000 is a relatively good size, and obviously some levies will be included as well down the road, which somewhat reduces the amount of cost that we have and expense. Now we are, if we're looking at the economy, we are not getting an awful lot from the holdings that we are holding directly, and most of this is down to control. But we might also be able to maybe build something with the limited funds that we do still have available, or improve some of the buildings that we have. So there are a few things that, if improved, are going to give us additional giving us additional taxes. The other thing that I was going to look at is the lifestyle. So obviously, we probably want to return to stewardship, but I don't really need the avaricious trait anymore. I think we might keep the golden obligations, but I don't need war profiteer or fearful troops. Instead, going down probably more the architect route would be the better choice here. So then we can also We could take wealth focus or domain focus. Domain focus might be the better one here. Alternatively, there are a few other things that we could use, that we could do in other trees, but I think I get a free reset. So that's probably what I'll do, just to redistribute the skills, because they are we get different skill trees now, so the original choices in some places don't make sense anymore. Okay, I have redistributed the perk points as they were available. So we've got the heart of the family now in the first one, because my family really is, well, the people I care about the most. Marshal, I've put them into overseer. So we've now got the control country progress mission gets 20% speed up, and we have plus 0.3 control growth per month as well. Other than that, mostly here still the strategist terms, and in the gallant tree we're still at never back down, but some has been redistributed in the center. In stewardship, focusing more heavily on architect, because again there's control growth, there is a fortification level, and building and holding construction time minus 30% on top of the cutting cornerstones already. We're not currently collecting taxes, so that's not really going to have an effect. Intrigue, we have nothing. Learning, we're still in anatomical studies and to wash our hands. But most interesting, I find currently the wandering lifestyle, because the previous lord, who by the way has now been, let's see if we can actually see it, who has been given the title of Languedoc by the emperor and has escaped south, the coward. So he is he will probably forever be our rival, but the former Duke Guillaume the Accursed of Toulouse, as we're looking at him, we can probably ask the Pope to excommunicate him. And I think, he is sinful, and we'll ask if the Pope agrees to excommunicate him and make him pay for his sins. All right, so now we've got done that. Armies reduced. We're not spending too much yet on construction, simply because the monthly income is not great. But what I was thinking is to actually go on the wandering lifestyle, which is a little weird given that we're now settled down. But we're not wandering far, but we are potentially traveling within our realm a little bit. And there are a few interesting things in the inspector one. First of all, there's the internal affairs focus, which makes a lot of sense because it gives us control growth. We're getting a lot of wandering experience, and there are a few interesting things here that we can unlock eventually. So that's what I'm going to choose, and in 5 years this is going to change again. But that's done. Now we've got a few more positions to fill. We've got a master of the horse potentially, but we don't really have the coin right now to do this. We could get a garden hermit. We don't even have anybody to. We have no wise men, right? We have a court chronicler. Might be an interesting one because we're still spreading the legends of the Knight of the Swan. Now it's currently we've got only 3 promoters left. I think some of them have died off, and we've got 25 baronies for now, so we can't really increase the quality just yet, which would get us legitimacy. Legitimacy is something that we are very short of, because we're right now at aspiring ruler, and we need to get that up to at least recognized. But one way to do this, we could get 65 legitimacy now, which isn't going to get us there. or we could get the increased quality. So I'm tempted to let that run for a bit, but the price obviously is quite significant. But we can stop that at any time. However, the court chronicler position would be, it could increase the legend spread chance. However, it is relatively expensive. It's 4 per month. Alternatively, we could just commend the legend abroad. Or we could just search for, no, not search for new legends. Do we have anybody? We could get Peronel to take care of this, actually. Although she is already quite busy, plus she is pregnant again. Or we could send Aliken van Brabant to do this. So it's the same effect, really. So I think we'll hire Arlequin into that position, and for now we'll get her to commend the legend abroad. A court jester who would just generally improve everybody's position, everybody's opinion, but we don't really have anybody who is very qualified for that. So I think with that we're looking for a wet nurse. We are in a relatively good position, I think, when everything's considered. We do have to figure out the tax situation eventually, but hopefully with increased control, that is going to start getting better. And what happened to Constantia? She's no longer my huntsman. Oh, okay, yes, because these. I think these positions no longer existed. And yes, we have gained a rival because the Pope has replied that he is most disturbed by the tales of Guillaume's misdeeds. It pains me to do so, but I agree that for the good of the Catholic faith, he must be excommunicated. All right, so my rival, I'm gonna get that. Okay, I have to get to the duchy title. There he is. He is now excommunicated, which is means he is now a criminal. I could challenge him to a fight, but he would never he would never agree to that. He is already excommunicated, so we are, I think, all in all, we have a rivalry with the Duchy of Languedoc, and I think he is now, yes, he's officially my rival. So we will see what comes of that. But this evil man must be dealt with. Now, yeah, all these positions have been vacated because these were originally adventurer positions. So they're no longer actually there. That makes sense. All right, we have a few more things to do. Count Emeric is going to be a problem. So I do not wish to have him on my court, because the man is an idiot, and as such, his views of us are not great. So we might be in for some trouble. That said, he is not going to be able to wage war against us in any capacity. So that's something I can live with. That said, we do have an accolade to create. So let's have a look. Radomir obviously would be the man to do this. So let's see what we can have here. We can have contender. That is that's more of a sort of knightly position. That's prestige and experience gain on Hastiluder. We could do Huntmaster, he does have the tactician as well. So that would give me martial lifestyle, which I'm currently not on, so that doesn't make sense. We could have Stalwart, Valiant for 30% army damage eventually. Thug, not really interested. And Huntsmaster would be a trait experience, and people might get the hunter trait. I am thinking Valiant actually might be a good first one. So, and tactician, I don't really need him on tactician on the second. We could do huntmaster at the secondary. So that we may gain the hunter traits every few years. Okay. Alternatively, stalwart as well. Stalwart might be good. Contender. We do get prestige out of that, but honestly, we have a lot of prestige as we are, and we're not going to host any tournaments anytime soon because we have to deal with. Yeah, I think stalwart is a good one. So we've got valiant and stalwart. And it is the sword of the sword in the plains accolade that will be granted to Radomir, my knight and friend. So that has been bestowed upon him, and with that, we have that done. We only got one accolade done, so we've got 18 out of 18 knights. So right now, we've still got a large number of knights, including Unigild, who is already very old, and Volkart von Nassau, who is still relatively new to the whole thing. All right, so that's done. Then we will see what do we have in decisions available. I think one of the things that I wanted to do was to convert to the local culture, and because right now we are of the French culture. But obviously, we should adopt the ways of the people of the land. And the current cultural head is Duke Guillaume the Accursed of the Occitan culture. So let's see if we can do something about that. So I think that is something we want to do. So we would adopt the Occitan culture, and let us become. Let us become local to the Occitans, which means now we'll see if we can do something about this man and eventually become the head of the culture. But that is for the future. We shall see about that. All right, I still have a contract over here, but I can't take that contract anymore. The other thing that we can do. We'll see what we do about the count. How about the mayor? Yeah, the mayor is completely incapable, so we'll leave him be, and we will see what we will do with him. We can't give him any directives, but we will see what we do with these two. For now, currently we are on the autonomous vassals law, so we're going to start by passing the limited crown authority, and begin employing a bit more control over this territory. It's going to be a while until we can increase that, but for now, that's done. And currently, the succession is such that Alderic will inherit the title, but he will lose the title of Rouergue to Raoulf. And he will lose the title of Milot to Ogier. So things will be fractured when my sons come into power, but such is the fate of everything. Now, we could try to give him the stubborn trait, but really I don't see that necessary. However, we could have him study the language. The High German language might be from Richwara von Kleve. Or Richwara von Kleve might be a good one. So let's do that. So he will start learning the High German language, and we can do the same. With his brother Raoulf, so he can also study. Then we have Ogier, who is 8, who can join in as well. So let's have everybody who can, but I think Antoine is still too little. And Elodie obviously will have a very interesting future ahead of her as well. So everybody who can start studying the language, and then we sit back. Watch the French army move. Watch the French army move off, and answers have been made to the call for the search for a wet nurse. With a mind to provide the best of care for our children, I've had my functionaries seek out able women for the role of wet nurse. Who do we have? We have Ine, who is deceitful, an irrational empath. She is also loyal, though, but wrathful and deceitful. I am not particularly impressed. Although the other choice is not particularly great either. So, do I want a deceitful woman at my court? I believe not. I think I don't like any of them. Instead, what we're going to have to check is see if we have anybody who's not married currently at our court. Cicely is not married. Wasn't she the spouse of somebody? Interesting, that is. I would have thought we have Lydia here, who we could find a spouse for as well. So let me look around and see if we can arrange a few marriages and see if we can find somebody to occupy the wet nurse position that way. Okay, well, we have sent word for a proposal for marriage. Volkart has been successfully teaching, and Constantia shall be married to Omori, my knight. And we will see, because she is, she is an excellent candidate for a wet nurse. She is a strong woman who can handle the children. She's a hunter herself, and she will make a great addition to our court. So as that, we will appoint her, and we will see what we do. Instill virtue. I think that's a good thing. Or we could promote friendship among the children. That is also also not bad. Yeah, a friendship between the children would probably be good. But we'll start out with the virtue. That is, of course, an additional expense once more. How's the control situation? It's slowly increasing. It is going to take a while, which cuts the taxes in half, which means our current income is probably going to double, which is still not enough to cover the expenses. So we may actually have to have a quick look if there's anything else we can construct. Currently, we're building simple pastures in Milo, but I might be able to. I don't think I have empty slots anywhere. That has got chapel. This doesn't have any holdings, so we'd have to do that first. And this is kind of not under control. So I think we will just be increasing probably. So if we were to increase, let's say, the farms and fields, that would increase the taxes by 0.3, but it's not going to make a massive difference. We do have a potential duchy building that we could build. The burial site would be interesting, but the cost is too high. So we do have to be very careful with our expenses at this point. So I am thinking, alternatively, this is crops and fields. Again, expensive to expand. And here we're already constructing, so we can't do anything there. This is homesteads already, which would be even more expensive for not a massive gain. So we do. I'm probably going to be saving our coin for now, so we no longer have an easy way of making coin, and we will see. We'll see how the situation develops. All right, for our friend Thierry, who has so far remained unmarried, we have found Richenda, a Norman woman, who is currently in Cornwall, and we have sent. But she's known for her bright intellect, so we will send that proposal out. we do have, I think, some people here who are actually not lowborn. Obviously, Volkert the Heathen cannot marry because he's a monk. But Arnold Arnoldsson von Aarschot, my Dutch knight, probably has more options when it comes to potential alliances, or in general just the range that people would be willing to accept. So let's see if we can find somebody for him as well. Right, we have an Albanian lady who is nevertheless known for her honor and for her strength. So we'll invite her to court as well to arrange into the House of Aarschot. And that leaves me with we got Volkart he's still just 18, so we might still be looking around and see if the House of Nassau, what the House of Nassau is going to be doing. We've got Milo still, and the other Thierry, and Raoul are all unmarried, so I'll probably find some wives for them as well. With accepting the local culture as our own and that of our ancestors, I have now actually become a Duke Bernat of Toulouse, and my wife is the Duchess Peronella of Toulouse. And I think overall, given that we've settled down here, this is now a good idea. But one of our newest members, Richenda, is already causing some trouble here. He was gallant and she was beautiful, and he was a hero and she was beautiful. It doesn't take long to discover where the music is coming from as soon as I find Richenda playfully tuning her instrument, leaning on a stone bench. "Ah, my lord," her eyes immediately brighten up. "Isn't it true that the reason for your legend was to impress Lydia, who is unmarried, at court?" No. Excuse me. Yes, no. You might not know how things are done around here, but she's actually a physician as well. That's great. You might not know how things are done around here yet, but no, I am very much true to my wife. So that will change a chapter in the legend. So let's see what that looks like. So now, if we open that, has anything changed here? No, I think it's still pretty much the same. Okay, no, this one I think is new. When Bernat's spouse came to him one morning with alarming rumors, Bernat made haste and promised to honor their everlasting love. Okay, so yes, we're definitely doing this the right way. All right, I think I'm going to end it here for today. It's been a long episode. I think we're starting to have everything organized. Upcoming, obviously, one problem that we need to deal with is the lack of income. We're also only holding three. We have 3 holdings currently. So there is still the question of the legitimacy of the county of Quercy, which is technically belonging to the Duchy of Toulouse. So Count Isarad might be somebody we need to deal with sooner rather than later. But we're obviously having a truce right now with the king. So we will see what will be done about this in the future. And obviously the situation with our somewhat unhappy vassals, who are really not pleased by the way that we have gone into power here. So many things to do and organize going into the future.